Hello, and thank you for joining us today for Powering Florida's Black Businesses. This is our third educational programming webinar entitled Top Business Marketing Trends and Strategies to Help Expand Your Customer Base and Grow Your Business. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, please feel free to send them our way. You can do that on any of our platforms that we're streaming live from today: LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and we will do our very best to get those answered. Thank you to the Florida Association of Black Chambers for this broadcast, and it is sponsored by FPNL Be Powerful. Joining us today, we have Kimberly Gray Roberts, the founder and lead strategist for Absolute Value Marketing. Welcome, Kimberly.
Thank you.
And
Glad to
Quin-
be here.
Thank you. And Quentin Lewis, who's the CEO of Herb in Eden. Welcome, Quentin.
Well, thank you for having me. Sorry.
It's okay. So today's topic is marketing. It's the most essential element to a business's success. And actually, quite frankly, I think that it is one of the fundamentals and it is the foundation of business. Can both of you give us your definition of marketing? I'll start with you, Kim.
So my definition, you actually touched on it just now when you said it's foundational. You really do have to understand very clearly when you're starting out in business, you have that great idea. The first thing that should come to mind is, how do I get people to buy into it? So marketing is extraordinarily important in understanding, number one, what your product or service is, and who's your ideal audience. Those should be your first thoughts when going into business and deciding how it is you're going to get your product to your public.
Thank you. And Quentin?
And really just kind of to just add on to that, I mean, or just really to just piggyback off of it, it's just really the activities to promote, or sell, the products of the business. Honestly, that's at its essence, that's what it is.
Okay. Let's look at a practical sense. Quentin, you have a very successful business. Can you please give us an understanding of or background into what it is that you do, and touch briefly on how marketing has impacted your business?
Okay. Well, hello everyone. I'm Quentin, and I am the CEO of Urban Eden. Urban Eden is a all natural soap and body care company. We're based out of Douglasville, Georgia. We sell natural soap. That's our main product. And we also sell other things, body care products like, body butter, body oils, really everything to take care of yourself in the bathroom. That's what we make. And how marketing has played, marketing has played a huge role, because I had a business before this. And one of my biggest things was I did not know how to market. So honestly, this business, when we started this business and I kind of got going in it, we got going with it. Really, that was the biggest thing, was that we had to learn how to market, and marketing honestly exploded our business. It was what allowed us to grow during COVID, during a time when people were declining in business. It has distinguished us, you know what I'm saying, and I would say in our space a little bit. So it's done a lot of things, and it's still a lot more things that we still got to do, but it has definitely, put us on the right path.
So, Kimberly, we will touch on a few terms that are really familiar to our spaces, but I would like for you to break a subset down to us. There
Sure.
is the terminology of strategy, there's the terminology of tactic. Can you give us some examples to let the businesses understand some of the essentials that must be considered when you are embarking upon marketing your business?
I am so glad you asked me that. It is my favorite thing to explain. There's a huge difference between strategy and tactics. Strategy is asking yourself, we all remember from English class back in elementary school, who, what, when, why, and where, right? Um, that basically comes into play when you're talking about marketing strategy versus your tactics. Strategy, you should be asking the questions: who am I trying to reach? What am I trying to sell? What am I trying to market, essentially? So that's your what and why, and your why should be your center. Like, why is this? What makes it valuable? And then your tactics are all about your how, your when, and your where. So your tactics are always going to be, if you think of it in a very simple format, your tactics are always time-based. How, and when, and where am I going? How am I going to get this out? What channels am I going to use? When is the best time to reach the person that I need to reach? And where are they? So anytime you have those questions in mind, you're thinking about a tactic. But when you're thinking about the who and the what, those are your strategic questions that you're going to be asking yourself. And you always need to start with the strategy first before you get into the tactics, because otherwise you're going to get some things wrong, and unfortunately you may waste time and money.
You brought up another term that is near and dear to my heart, and that was channel. And we're not talking about a TV channel here. Tell the businesses what a channel is.
You're right. So our channels are, we have traditional channels and we have digital channels, right? So under traditional channels, that is going to be your television, radio, print, and print meaning it could be magazines, and then you have out of home, which are your billboards or your bus benches or anything that's again outside of the home, that would be in a public space. Those are considered out of home channels. Your digital channels include social media. So your digital is going to be your website is a channel. Your social media profiles, those are channels. So when you're thinking about how am I going to reach these people, and what channels do they like to use, where they going to be most easily found, the people that I want to reach, then you want to look at those various types of channels. You may have a product that, people are still reading the newspaper. So you'll need to be in the newspaper for that, for those, if you want to get that audience that's very much still into the newspaper. I don't want to be ageist, but it's generally an older audience versus digital or social. Whereas if you have a very young audience, you're looking at TikTok versus the Facebook. So it's really about understanding who you're trying to reach, what you're trying to sell them, and how you want to speak to them. And those channels are that vehicle.
So let's put all of that into motion and talk about the practicality of it. So Quentin, with your company, what were or who is your target audience, and where have you successfully been able to reach them? What channel are they found on?
Well, our target market happens to be actually Black affluent women, like between the age of like 25 and 55. That's our market, and we've been able to find them. Of course, social media. Facebook is our biggest channel that we spend the most on. And then back to what Kimberly was talking about, the traditional channels. Different events. One of the biggest one, Essence event. That's a huge one where our target market, just is all down there.
So when speaking of those in-person events, when I started in marketing back in 1993, I believe it was, those events were called promotions.
Mm-hmm.
And so we would do intercepts and have quantitative and qualitative data from those intercepts with customers. Some were on premise, some were off premise. But my point about what I'm telling you all is just that the terms may have shifted, because it's not promotion anymore, it's experiential marketing. The terms have shifted, but the definition and the end result has not stopped. When it relates to the digital, the online, the social media, let's talk about how that shift has occurred within that space. It's still Facebook, but there's and it's still Instagram, but there are some things that have changed and have been tweaked as the algorithms of the platforms have changed. This question is just for both of you. Have you noticed that there are some strategies that you've used earlier on with certain clients or products that right now, the way that those platforms are set up, they just don't work anymore?
No, please, Quentin, go.
Well, I mean, just based on like my own journey, like we started, like when we started our business, like online wasn't, I mean, it was like 2015-ish when we started. So like online was definitely prevalent and popping, but like we didn't start off having an online presence like that. So we were at farmers markets, set up our tent table, meeting people face to face like that. So that was very pivotal, very crucial for us because at these events we were collecting data. That was the biggest thing. We were collecting data, collecting emails, numbers, and stuff like that, so that we can remarket to them. Then we go through COVID, and like it just seems like all the digital just was just that's what it was all about. No one was trying to go out anymore or anything. But now, to me, it seems like I know for us and what I'm looking ahead to is like I'm thinking about I want to get back out, feet on the ground now, because that's kind of like how you kind of distinguishing yourself. Yes, you still need to have that online rolling and going, but to me, like my actions and where I'm like being drawn to is more to the events. And again, that I would probably have to go back to even Essence. Like we went to Essence this past summer, and that whole experience, just really being in the midst of everybody, like it just really got me kind of like it sparked me again. And like, I want to get back out and just touch the people face to face because
got energized.
yeah, it's something about that connection when you meet people face to face, like, and it's like it lasts just way longer. When you see an ad on social media, yeah, a person might buy from you, but the long term, like that customer lifetime value, I think it's just much stronger when you meet people in person for some reason.
Thank you.
That's awesome. I would say that, and Jessica, I'm sure that you could, touch and agree on this as well. But because of the changes in the algorithms, and you're constantly, especially if you're, doing this on your own, you don't necessarily have an agency like Jessica's or my agency to do the work for you. But if you're on your own, the time that it takes to stay on top of the changes to the algorithms. At one time, it was, with Instagram, just post consistently. And then it was, well, post consistently, but make sure that you're tagging. And then it was post consistently, make sure you're tagging and add video. And now it's post consistently, make sure you're tagging, add video, and do reels.
Yeah.
And then so now and I forgot, do lives, include this, include that. So the thing to remember is that, yes, number one, and this goes back to developing a strategy and having a plan in place. Still, once you have your plan, follow your plan, but chasing the algorithm is a surefire way to lose yourself in the fine details when you really should be focusing, like Quentin said, on touching your customers, engaging your customers, making sure that they know what you have, what new product offerings you have for them. So having not just, and I'm going to throw out another term, not just having that media that really, once you put it on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, that content is theirs. They can do with that whatever they like. They can push it down in the feed. They can disappear it altogether. But what you own is your website. You own any content that you develop for that. And of course, nothing can replace that one-to-one interaction. So I really like to, yes, play the digital social media game, but also own your content and make sure that your website is there, that your SEO is in place, that you're being found. If somebody decides to search you, they can find you. So that's kind of the behind the scenes, because let me tell you that, that algorithm game is like going to a casino. It's, you can win big or you can lose big. It's definitely a gamble because they're changing it all the time.
Excellent point. And you mentioned this. I wrote an op-ed in 2020 around summer, warning businesses that had begun to find success on social media and were shifting their tactics to social and really, really driving their ads through that platform. While that's good, there is a caution. You still have to, and this is what Quentin was alluding to, there's something that is powerful with your data. When you engage with your customer on social media, and that is the only way that you're able to engage with said customer. If someone hacks your platform on social media, they hijack your handle, that your business can shut down. So
Mhm.
you have to be proactive in engaging with your customers who are that you found in this area that we're calling Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. You have to figure out a way where you're able to engage and get their data, so that in case any of those platforms decide tomorrow to just shut down, you
Mhm.
will not stop being able to have revenue and having the ability to have this relationship. So even if we're looking at what Quentin was saying, where you're able to engage with that customer face to face, how are you able to engage with them off of that platform? Meaning now they have engaged with you. Are you sending them a newsletter? Are you sending them text alerts? How are you engaging with them off of the platform? And it's not so much to say you can't engage with them on the platform, but it is to say that it's almost your insurance plan. Do either of you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's very important to, you know, communicate with them like afterwards. I tell people like when I'm having a conversation with them, like they won't even believe in me, but it's crazy. But um, email accounts for like 50% of our revenue. Now that might be high. I talked to some people, they say that is pretty high, whatever. It wasn't always like that, but you know, email is extremely important to us. Like we literally email every day, and you know, we're always, you know, we have a content calendar that we build out, and you know, we're hitting it, you know, every single day. So you got to make sure you're communicating with your people afterwards. Like it ain't enough to just get the money, get the transaction, and then that's it. You know, I've actually been to events before, and I just, you know, just want to go there, just chop it up with the business owners and stuff like that. And I'll buy something, and I'll be like, you don't want my data, you don't want my name or email. I'm like, they like, nah, I'm good, you good to go. I'm like, all right, well, that the data is almost more valuable almost than like the transaction money that you're getting, you know, at that time. So
Mhm. I 1000% agree. I actually had a client that I worked with, and they had a database. Quentin, hold on to your chair. They had a database of 10,000 emails.
wow, yeah,
They never once sent an email to any of those 10,000 customers. Can you imagine? This
wow,
was this was the dustiest email list
wow,
I've ever seen. It was, and the fact that at the time when I came in just to do an audit of what they had done, they gave me this list. I ran it through to see if they were valid. Only about 15% of that 10,000 were no longer valid emails.
mm,
We did a campaign, and they immediately saw a return, not to 50%,
yeah, yeah,
but they had I think they had a return of about maybe 27, between 17 and 20% on 10,000. And and the average sale was around 75 to $100 just from a one email sent.
Mm.
mm-hmm,
And that is the hidden gold. And you really touched on it. That is the gold that so many business owners miss out on, and they're spending money on whether it's radio ads or television ads, and that they get sold in bulk packages so
mm,
that they could be on Cozy TV. No shade to Cozy, but you have these things that people are spending, I call vanity dollars.
yeah,
You want to be on the radio so that you can hear your name on the radio, or you want to be on TV so that you can see your face on TV. And it's not necessarily getting you that return on investment, but it makes you feel good because it's there.
mm, yeah,
Mhm.
Where you have this email, and there are platforms that are basically free, that you can have free forever, that you can be building out these campaigns. And then with a little extra effort, you can absolutely get up maybe 50%. 50% is phenomenal rate of return on an email campaign. I mean, it's almost unheard of. It's fantastic. But it is also a way to, number one, stay engaged because everybody wants to feel like they're insiders. So sending out an email that says, hey, we want to let you know this before the rest of the world does is a huge galvanizer for many customers. Everybody wants to feel like they're in within the velvet rope. And that's what those emails help you do as a business owner, is to have that internal circle that will sustain you, even when times get a little thinner when they change the algorithm again on social.
So you touched, here you go again, Kim.
I'm
You talked
sorry.
about that. Okay, this is good stuff. It was the vanity opportunities through let's just say radio. But in that you mentioned free, that there
Mhm.
are free tactics. Can you please give us some examples? Because I know the business owners who are watching would love to know what are some free tactics. And in addition, if you are watching, you're watching it on YouTube or LinkedIn or streamed in, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, X, wherever you're watching, please go ahead and drop comments or questions so that we can field those to our panelists today. Kim, but what are the free ones?
Oh, free ones. They have free plans for, um, let's see. Oh gosh, where do we even want to start? There's MailChimp, Constant Contact.
So that's your
Mhm.
answer right there. You want to know, Daniela, what are the name of free email campaigns? There you go.
If you're building that
Uh,
list fast, though, it's going you're gonna have to pay, but it's a good investment though.
it is a great investment. And the thing is when you're looking, I think you can get free up to 500 names. So if you're just getting started and you want to test it, just about every single platform available has a free trial period.
Mhm.
So some as much, some as little as 7 days, which is not a bad period of time to be able to test. And then you have some platforms that give you 14 and sometimes even 30 days, depending on the platform. So by all means, try out the different free trials, get the demos, take out that 15 minutes to get a demo. Right now, and one of my favorite new free platforms is Adobe, that does everything. But Adobe Express now has a free version that basically allows you to do social media posts, do ad creative. There's even an AI function that helps you with your copywriting. I'm also a huge fan of Grammarly. I don't leave anywhere without it. That app is loaded everywhere, so that if I'm even doing an impromptu post, my Grammarly corrects my spelling, corrects my punctuation, and sometimes even goes so far as to tell me a better way to write it. Um, AI is everywhere. It's built into a lot of these platforms now, so it saves you time. And if it doesn't have a free forever opportunity, then definitely take advantage of the trials. And there's let's see, I've got GPT, Grammarly, Canva, Adobe Express. And then of course, then you get into analytics. Google Analytics is free all the time. You can tell what works, what versus what doesn't work. Um, MailChimp, Constant Contact, and then of course, once you get into project management, because you're super busy, there's Monday.com, Trello, etc.
Kim, you should, if you can, just add those to one of the chats
Sure.
that we're broadcasting on, because I know that they're going to want to get that list again. And then if you haven't heard, Canva is an opportunity for you to build out those visual assets that will accompany whatever it is that you're selling. And another tip is, if, for example, you aren't able to build out the campaign, period, or you need graphic assistance or assistance with creating reels, there is also Fiverr. Fiverr is an opportunity for you to connect with different individuals. It started out where everything was $5. I want to say it was $5. Everything
Yes.
was $5. And if you needed a graphic made or anything that you need from a marketing perspective, Fiverr is a great tool to use to go on and assist. Even with emails, there are just so many different opportunities out there for businesses that are trying to grow. There was another one that I was getting ready to add to your list, but it escaped me. Quentin, did you want to jump in on this?
Oh, no, no, no. I'm sorry. I was just covering my mouth real quick.
I was like, Quentin has something to say.
Oh, no, no.
Okay.
She hit all the good resources though.
She did. She did. Let's expound a little bit though on
Mhm.
Google. Now, Google, as we know, we think of it as a search engine. Hip Rockstar, all of our platforms, although we are based on all Mac products, everything is founded within Google. We use Chrome, Google Chat. And now we're getting kind of more into the project management aspect of it. But uh, Google Maps and identifying your business and listing it on Google Maps. Can you all speak to that? We've had nothing but success from making sure that our business was properly listed. What are your thoughts on that? And that's free.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
is.
yeah. Go ahead, Kim.
Go ahead, Quentin. I'm sorry. No, please.
Oh, I mean, our business is listed on there. We have a physical, like, we sell online, but we do have a physical retail store. So, having that on there is definitely helpful. It's literally like it's free traffic, free, like, people discover the business. You know what I'm saying? Easily. Um, and just speaking of just Google does have a lot of resources. Like, I use like almost all. I'm using Google Sheets and Google Docs, and I use all of that and share with my team easily. And but Google is amazing. But that Google Maps for sure.
And you can add photographs, you can add video, you can have customer reviews, which within itself allows for others who have questions about your business to be able to do some type of research on you. You have all of your stars, your ratings of your service, which I just find that very priceless, especially when I do find a company and I love their products or their service. I always go to Google, try to find them and leave a review because I know
Mhm.
that's helped us. So I'm sure it would help other businesses as well.
Hmm.
Could I would love to just add to that if I could, Jessica, because reviews are the word of mouth of the digital age.
Right.
And I'm exactly like you guys. I'm on Google Workspaces. Everything that I do for my business is on Google Workspaces. So I highly recommend it. Google My Business is wonderful. Get that listing up so that it does show up. But with regards to reviews, I would like to add a cautionary note, please. And my anecdote is um, I had I had a bird problem at my house, noisy birds, and I was looking to find out if there was a humane way to get these birds, other than putting a scarecrow in my front yard, to get them away. I reached out to this gentleman, found him on Google, and he gave me good information. There wasn't anything I could do. I could maybe do this or that, but there wasn't anything because these birds are protected. So as I'm going through my Google reviews, because I'm an avid reviewer, and I try to be fair, I noticed that I gave him 3 stars. Now, that was it 3 out of 4 or 3 out of 5? I gave him 3 stars, and simply because I didn't get an opportunity to actually use his service. But I talked to him on the phone and I gave him 3 stars, and I even included in the review, didn't actually use their service, but he gave me good information. He proceeded to blast me online and tell me how horrible and I'm a kook, I'm a creep, I'm a this, I'm a that, because I did not give him 5 stars. Even though in my explanation I said this is why it's only 3. So I responded to him and said, this may be the reason that that you're not doing as well in your business as you possibly could, because it wasn't a negative review. But then I started to see that if anyone gave him less than 5 stars, he absolutely went after them and wrote horrible things. Now, this is not good. So let's just say that you do have a legitimate, someone who does write and may have, whether it's, a bad review or legitimate complaint. When answering, don't take it personal. Take it as an opportunity to really look at, well, could this have happened? What could we have done differently? Because how you answer your reviews tells me, as a person who may or may not come to you in the future, I might not want to do, because if I don't have a good experience, they're not going to treat me the way that I would want to be treated. So I'm not gonna fool with them. I'm not gonna touch them. So just be very cognizant in how you engage, because that still counts as customer engagement. Be careful about how you respond, even to a negative review. Just again, take it as it's not a loss, it's a learning experience. Please come back. We would love to make this up to you. How can we make this right? Because again, this is about the customer. It's not personal. It's about their experience, and what can you do as a business owner to make sure that they're consistently having great experiences with your business, that they want to advocate on your behalf.
Let me ask you this in regards to the reviews, because
Mhm.
I don't want to go down this rabbit hole too far, but this is free and this is a way to drive business.
Mhm.
You have someone who has left a negative review and they did not partake in your service. It's a lie. Removing negative reviews that are not accurate. Have you come across that before and had any experience in attempting to do that?
I definitely have had to do it for customers before. I'm sorry, Quentin.
No, no,
But I have done it, and there is a process for that.
no.
That you can go through support, whether it's Google, Facebook, Instagram. You can go through support and let them know that this was not a legitimate review. This person has not been to your place of business, and they can help you remove it.
Mm. I needed that one because we've had some negative ones, just a few like on Google or whatnot.
And
Yeah,
they
you
were
can
unfounded.
contest it.
To add to that, like you say, I know you don't want to go down that whole rabbit hole, but like sometimes we will get some negative comments on ads, and we tend to hide those because I mean it's like your billboard. It's just like if Pepsi had a billboard and someone wrote Coke is better, like you would want to remove that part of the off of your advertising. You know what I'm saying? I don't see nothing wrong with that though.
Mhm, mhm. So let's stay on the finding the business. Someone takes your business name and they immediately put it in some search engine, because that's how people find businesses now. They don't go to yellow pages. They put it in a search engine. So what are some tips that we can let our business owners know when it relates to SEO?
Well, if someone, so you saying like the scenario of someone basically took your business name and they're starting to come up in Google and stuff?
No, they're looking for you, Quentin. They're like, I heard of this company. I'm trying to find it. What are the important things to think about when you're doing your search engine optimization and setting it up with keywords, and how can it help your business?
Oh, okay. I mean, honestly, not a huge expert at this, but I would say, it's all in that content creation. Like when you're creating content, like for example, blogs. Blogs was a big one for me, like in my first business early. I would just write. I actually had a landscape design business. And how I got clients was by blogging about plants and the best plants in this time of season and best soil, all that type of stuff. And I was just writing, being knowledgeable on these topics, writing my blogs, posting them consistently, and that's how I was able to start getting found, and that's how I was building my SEO, was from the content, from creating, what I'm saying. And again, today you can write blogs, you can create videos and put them, in your blogs if you just want to do that. But creating content and just make sure that those strategic keywords are in there, and keep in volume. It's a volume game. Fresh content. Google wants fresh. It's like a bakery. It wants fresh bread. Like it wants fresh stuff. So continually to just, repurposing stuff and everything. I know we do that a lot too, repurposing blogs.
Absolutely. Again, Quentin really touched on all of it, really. But when you're looking at search engine optimization, it really is about keywords. So thinking about strategically what keywords best describe your business and how often can you use those keywords on your website, when you write blogs, and blogs really are important. And no matter what any social media person says, blogs are not dead, because again, that is content that you own, that can always, like Quentin said, it can be repurposed. So making sure that those keywords that pertain specifically to your business come up often in the places that you can put them. So in your articles, in your blog posts, in your social media posts, and those are words that get searched. So if I'm looking for natural skincare is something that probably, that's a phrase that Quentin probably uses quite a bit in his blog. So his name is going to pop up in my search. If he's done a really good job making sure that the front end and back end of his website include those terms, then he's going to end up on page 1. And it takes a lot. It takes, again, consistency. And I love the bread commentary. It's fresh content to get those things for the search engines to continue to look for them and serve them up, as long as it's new. So I would say, just again, being consistent with developing your content, pushing out as much fresh content or repurposed content. So if you repurpose it, that means switch it up a little bit so that it looks new to the search engines as they're going out looking for this info, but keeping those keywords top of mind that have to do specifically with your business.
And how do you suggest for a business owner to go about trying to figure out who their target audience is?
Well, how do you go about finding out who your target market is? I mean, so like, honestly, like, so for example, if you're a product-based business, I mean, honestly, just going through your customer list, seeing who those people are. I know, like, one of the things that we did recently, I'm not sure that maybe all business, but we did have like some data work, like some survey type work done. We did like a survey. I worked with this college professor. He's like a marketing professor, and he wanted to do some market research with our company. So he was able to do a survey that we sent out to all of our customers. We got like a whole lot of like demographic research and everything done. And that's how we were able to kind of determine, like, specifically, we already had a feeling already, a sense of who our customer kind of was, but this just kind of like narrowed it down, narrowed it in, a bit more so that we can get like that age range and the different qualities of them and things like that.
I would also say, for someone who's just starting out, and when you're developing your marketing strategy, one of the things, there are 2 components in developing your marketing strategy that what Quentin talked about, but it's part of a step. So there are steps involved. There's determining who your target audience is and figuring those personas. So the first thing that you want to do is not say that my audience is everybody, because no, it is not. It is not everybody. You have in mind specific individuals. And I usually like to think about maybe 3 different personas, 3 different types of people that might come into your business. And Quentin, you touched on another thing. You said, whether you're product-based or service-based. So being very clear about what it is you offer and what bucket you go into. So what's important to this individual person may not be important to someone else. So how do you reach that person? So 3 personas. Think about what they want from you. And then as you're getting into it, looking at what the competition does. And this is very, very grassroots. Super grassroots, figure out who's doing the exact same thing I'm doing, then go to their business and see who their customers are.
Mhm.
And then from that, you can distill. I don't want that one, but I do like this one. I'd like that one, but maybe not that one. And that's how you can determine who your audience is and who you're reaching. Is kind of going around, I call it the Burger King strategy. But because Burger King follows McDonald's,
Hmm.
that's their marketing strategy. Wherever McDonald's shows up, within a mile to 2 miles within a McDonald's, there is a Burger King. And
Mhm.
because Burger King has allowed McDonald's to do all of the hard marketing work for them.
Hmm.
Mhm. Mhm. And then there is a another, going back to the free opportunities. SurveyMonkey
Mhm.
is a platform that you can use. It is for free to drill down who your target audience or market is, and that way you can understand some of their um, activities. Do they read the newspaper, or do they watch television? Do they listen to the radio? Do they watch YouTube, or is it Sirius XM or Pandora? Do they go to the
Mhm.
Essence Music Festival? Do they go to Nomi Music Festival? Where are they hanging out? What do they eat? Understanding in depth who your audience is so that you're able to speak with them. And it's and also, do we have any questions? If we do have a question, let's bring that up. Understanding your target audience, and it will just help you to be able to reach them in a better way or easier way. Carmen, yes, that is an excellent question. We've talked a little bit about blogging. Carmen says, can you use Chat GPT content for writing blogs?
Yeah.
Kimberly?
Yes, absolutely. So here's the thing, and this going back to your marketing strategy and figure number one, know your brand. Because you can go in and you can give Chat GPT a prompt to say, I would like to write a blog on, um, tell me a product name, Quentin.
Do urban eating.
Okay,
Duh.
one of your soaps. So you have, a lemongrass oatmeal soap that you're getting ready to launch, and you would like people to understand the benefits of lemongrass and oatmeal. You can type into that, Chat GPT, please write a blog. You can tell it how many words you'd like it to write, or the length of time you'd like the read to be, no more than a 3-minute read, about the benefits of lemongrass and oatmeal and this natural formulation of our soap. However, this is what's going to happen. And anybody who's used Chat GPT for anything knows that it has a tendency to be extra superlative when it writes. So everything is the best and the most wonderful. And so again, what you have to do is you can use it to help kind of give you the basis of what you want to say, but you have to go in and fix it so that it's your voice and not this overly salesy, super califragilistic thing that Chat GPT does.
Mhm.
You still have, but the time saving quality of it is great. Sometimes if you just need help with, what, I need some topics, it's a great place to go to help you kind of
Mhm.
determine what topics are. And it's iterative. So the more information that you give it within one session, it'll change up answers for you. You can tell it to be more personable. You could tell it to be more professional. So your tone of voice is very important, and that's what goes back to know your brand, know who you are, so that yes, you can get the help, but you still want it to sound like you and not like AI. I'm at a stage right now, I can generally read any blog post and tell if it's been written by AI.
Sounds
So
it'll sound like robotic and stuff.
it almost sounds, so imagine if it's being written by, and if it's being written by a very perky cheerleader from any movie. It sounds just overly robust. And
Yeah.
so you kind of want to go in and say, okay, calm down. and you have to take some of that out and bring it back down. But it's very dramatic, Chat GPT,
Mm-hmm.
if you leave it to its own devices. But I hope that that's helpful. But to be able to get a blog written in 3 seconds is fantastic, but you still do need to put the work in to make sure that it sounds authentic, because people can tell when you're not being authentic.
Yes, it lacks soul. There
It
isn't
lacks.
essence to the content. You can tell it's a little hollow. It might be factual, but there's no substance to it. And so we touched on Chat GPT, Survey Monkey. Wix is also. We talked about the free platforms, owning your content, and websites being one of those fundamental opportunities that you have to solely own the content. Wix.com, awesome platform. You can go on and build your own website. And it can be for free if you want them to continue to have their advertisements on your website. That can be free. And Wix, when it started, which was, I want to say, or I became familiar with it at least 15 years ago,
Yeah.
at least. It had an AI function where it would build your own website for you. All you had to do was just put in a little bit of information and it would actually build the website for you. But in doing so, back when I became familiar with it, which would have been maybe like 2012, 2013, something like that. My math ain't mathing, but that's okay. The point is that at that time, their AI technology just wasn't working properly. It wasn't fulfilling the end result. You still had to go in and do a lot of work. But right now, I believe Wix.com, with their AI conversion of websites, which is pretty much a snap of the finger, and you have a website up and running. I think that they have evolved with technology. Have you all found any other website platform hosting services that will provide free hosting and do it through a AI assistance?
Squarespace is pretty good for that. It is a very clean platform. However, I'm not sure that they have fully integrated AI into it, but they have a free e-commerce plugin. That's, I know that some sites like a WordPress does not allow for that. But Squarespace is also a good, clean site that's easy to use and get started. Um, GoDaddy, I believe, does have an AI function though. So if you get your web address through GoDaddy, they do have a site, the opportunity to build a site through them. And I believe they have an AI function.
Mm-hmm.
Are you,
Quentin, have you come across any?
I'm not gonna lie, I have not. I've been using Shopify since like 2015, so I'm not 100% sure if Shopify has like introduced like the AI type of thing, but I'm a big advocate of Shopify.
Shopify just seems so hard to really come up to understanding how it works. And it may be because I was introduced to so many other platforms before.
Yeah.
But did it take you a moment to get up to speed with how it actually worked?
It didn't really take me an incredible long time. I mean, been using it like I said since 2015. I think I really liked it from the beginning because of the ease, how I could collect the data so easily. Like I could use my POS system with my online store. Like
Oh, see, that's a separate integration. Yeah, yeah.
I really like that. So like when I'm at the farmer's market, I could easily pull up my products that's on my online store, sell my products and, collect the data easily. Customer accounts are all the same online, in person. So that's why I love Shopify. I think from the beginning.
And that you touched on a really good point, because I mentioned earlier that all of our devices were Mac, and that we were working on a Google platform, it is very important to find the system that will work for you. You can't just say, oh, well, so and so is using this, I'm going to use it. It
Mhm.
is really dependent upon what other elements that you use to be successful. Quentin just stated that his POS system had a fully integrated opportunity to go with into Shopify to make his back office work much easier and still allow the customer to have a great experience. So Shopify was the right platform for him. You've got to do the work to figure out what is going to work on your end, because at the end of the day, as a small business owner, as an entrepreneur, there are many things that will become taxing. You want to try to find some of those opportunities that are almost set it, forget it, and let it operate and assist you without you trying to work it so hard. Kimberly, what are some opportunities that you want to let the small business know before you um, get off of our broadcast? I want them to be able to pull as much knowledge from you as possible. What are some of the things that you want them to know as it relates to marketing, getting in touch with their customer, and really just trying to sell whatever it is, their service or product? And the last part I'm going to add to that is knowing when you need to transition with your marketing strategy because it is just not effective. I know that was a lot.
No, it's great. So first things first, failure to plan is planning to fail. That's why it's important. Um, as much as you start your business, you want to get up and go and just do it. Sit down, make the plan, figure out who your target market is, figure out how your product best serves those individuals. Keep in mind that you need to be customer centric. What's in it for them? That's the question you have to answer. Um, Figuring out where they are, when they're there, what can how do you best fulfill their needs. Then we've got, as we're just going down the list of answering the questions of how we get in front of the customers, understanding that you may pick a channel that doesn't work, but you have to also know that, number one, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of content that people are being fed every day, and it's cutting through the clutter. So you do have to be patient, but once you have enough time behind a particular campaign to really make a real decision, that's looking at your analytics and seeing what works versus what doesn't, then being able to make those changes. Again, not taking it personal, just knowing that it's not about you, it's about your customer, keeping your customer first, making the changes as necessary. Your marketing plan is a living, breathing document, which means it has to respond to what the market is. You have to be willing to innovate. So don't be afraid to make the changes. Try something new. It's all about test, test, and test again. Once you've figured out something that works, then play it out for as long as you need to, but understand that it may not work forever. When you start to see your returns go down, then that means that you need to start listening again to figure out how your customers' preferences have changed. Again, staying customer centric at all times is the key to any successful marketing.
And and you may have said this, but when are you going to be able to, or not when, but when you decide that you need to change that strategy, how or who can you turn to figure out what's another alternative to reaching your target audience and marketing your business?
Well, I think you go to the customer, you ask them, um, because they're going to be the best source of information. When you have, and again, it's going to that email list, it's using those surveys. Hey guys, we're looking at making some changes. What do you most like about this product? what were the things that are problematic for you? How can we make this better? Your customer is always going to be your best source of information. The other thing is again, back to that sort of that ground, that boots on the ground research. Besides talking to your customer, look at what the competition is doing, especially if you're in a field where you have major corporations. When you see those major corporations start to make changes, that is a good market indicator for you that they're seeing maybe some insights in their data that's making them change. Now, keeping in mind, big companies are like ships. It takes a lot to turn a ship, so you need to start early. If you're really paying attention to what's going on in your market, following or taking clues from those big companies that take longer to shift is actually beneficial for you, because you're smaller, you're more nimble, you can make the changes more quickly. It kind of gives you that foresight to be able to adapt before the necessity hits and before it gets dire.
Perfect. 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 I do want to throw these dates out there for all of you who are watching. November the 9th, we have another panel incorporating effective and practical approaches to sustain a profitable business and promote efficiency. Is that the one that is in Pensacola? We have an in-person event coming up. Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm talking to our team. Tell me what, I believe it's financial success. That's in Pensacola. It's next week. It's October. It's Thursday at Pensacola Improv. That is an in-person event. And then the following week, okay, I have it now. It's effective strategies for Black-owned businesses when securing capital and accessing bank financing. So that's in person at Pensacola Improv next week on October the 26th. The following week, we have another webinar incorporating effective and practical approaches to sustaining a profitable business and promoting efficiency. That is a webinar. Then we have another in-person webinar or workshop at PS Social Miami. That begins at 6 p.m. It is on November the 9th. And that one is on Black-owned businesses, strategies for secured capital, banking financing, venture capital funding, basically securing the bag. That's November the 9th. And then our last webinar in this series is on November the 30th, and it's finding and applying to RFPs, bids, contracts, and other opportunities for businesses. As you can see, the Florida Association of Black Chambers of Commerce has held nothing back with their partnership with FPL Be Powerful to provide all of these assistance and to help every business in Florida to be successful. I want to thank you, Kimberly Gray Roberts, for joining us, and Quentin Lewis, thank you for joining us. Did you all have any closing thoughts before we left and ended our stream today?
Yeah. Actually, somebody in the back end, they wanted me to answer like kind of like how we market Urban Eden, but I'll just kind of leave that off as like a little bit at the end. But Kimberly kind of touched on it, how like over time you're gonna adjust your strategies and your plans, and we've adjusted ours. We're in the middle of adjusting a lot of things right now because you learn so much. And I know me, just even as an entrepreneur, I've learned a tremendous amount. I feel like we've taken on investment as well. So like when I started to talk to our current investors, like they even gave me a whole different perspective. I'm not even gonna lie, I wasn't even thinking about customer acquisition until they came along and was like, yo, your customer acquisition is on a downward trend. And I was just like, what? So, so even now, like we focus on, heavy customer acquisition and retention. It's acquisition and retention. Those two words are always what we're always talking about. And just trying to come up with different, offers to be able to acquire new customers. It's all about switching up these different offers and testing. You got to always be testing. We do a lot of testing. On the retention side, that involves, your loyalty program. We have a loyalty program. Of course, I talked about, how email is incredibly important. Subscription, that's a huge one into our retention. Crazy things that subscription, our product is so perfect for subscription, but we really weren't focusing on it, really hard. We were selling all this product, but we didn't have a very strong subscription business. So we're trying to focus a lot of our attention on trying to get a lot of people to subscribe and just ways to make it feel like a club, like a very exclusive type of club. And that how Costco and all of that type of stuff, it makes you feel, we're trying to, make it feel very exclusive and very things like that. So I don't want to go on too long, but hopefully that was a little bit of insight into how we're marketing and how we're thinking about, that marketing side of the business.
Thank you, Quentin. And closing thoughts, any, Kimberly?
Again, just, put together your plan. I did want to just very quickly, because there was a question that you asked, and that is when you get to the stage that you need to hand off your marketing, and understanding what your plans for scaling is, and just, shop for professionals, Jessica, Hip Rock Star, Absolute Value Marketing, companies like ours. This is what we do. So that actually benefits you as a business owner, because it takes this thing that can be extremely time consuming, and clearly it can be, because there are people who do it for a living, for you to be able to focus on building your business and allowing people who do it for a living to do those things that they have the expertise in. So, don't be shy about engaging with marketing companies. There are many. Find the right marketing company that's for you, but that all goes to making sure that you're taking your marketing seriously. It is a foundational component of your business. If you're looking to grow your business, your marketing has to be one of those priorities that you make.
We can keep going on. Marketing is, in my opinion, it's everything. It is everything.
Yep.
We'll see you next week as we continue in this presentation on educating Black-owned businesses. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.